today is the story of how my teacher got fired. Okay, well, I don't really know if they got fired, but through all of that happened, I'm pretty sure they got fired after like that year ended. This is episode 2 of the new win streak on the Scrim server. So yeah, I hope you enjoy, and if you do, make sure you like and subscribe. Okay, well, y'all clicked on this video because you want to hear about my teacher getting fired. Okay, so first, I do have to say I am no longer in junior year. This happened in junior year, right? At the end of junior year, right? So like 11th grade. The teacher that got fired was my physics teacher. But y'all need an explanation as to why he got fired. Or it was not exactly clear if he got fired or if he just quit or retired. But knowing at how terrible he was at teaching and just being a human to students, I really think he got fired. And also the things he did were not great. So first off, first day of junior year of physics, right? So physics is like not the easiest course. So naturally you want to get like a good teacher. So like you get someone that teaches it pretty well to you and not just tells you to do this and then you got to do this. But okay, physics is not easy, right? So first day he just starts teaching, and the first thing he tells us is like, I don't even have to be here anymore. I could have retired last year, but my wife wants me to keep working. And essentially, he went on to explain to us that he's retired from 5 different jobs. So he's like super rich. He doesn't care about anything anymore. This man is like 150 years old if I do the calculations right. Like, I'm not joking. I really think he's like 100 years old. Not the way he looks or like what he sounds like. The amount of jobs that he's done in his life. It's just crazy, the amount of stuff that he's done. So yeah, he's a really accomplished person. So he starts teaching on the first day, and naturally the first day is probably like the easiest day in any class because, you know, it's just teaching the basics and what the heck? Just teaching the basics, and he left. So he's just teaching about force, and he's teaching with like, he's using a red pen that is like a very, this is important, right? So a very, very light red pen, and he's teaching on like the I don't know what it's called, but like the thing that goes like on the projector and stuff. Like I'm pretty sure a lot of schools have that. But yeah, and it's so zoomed out, and we tell him, right? You know, we're like, hey, we can't really see anything, and he just changes it. But I honestly, like, I don't think he could see that well. So he barely moved it like every time we would ask him, and he just never fixed it. It was so funny. But yeah, we quickly realized that this is not the best teacher we've ever had. So yeah, fast forward through the year, and okay, sometimes he would like randomly through the day, through the class, he would just like, we would say something, we would answer one of his questions, and then nobody ever wanted to answer, right? So sometimes he would call on us. But yeah, whenever we got the answer wrong, he wouldn't just like tell us it was wrong. He'd be like, how did you even get that? That's like not even possible. What are you doing? I don't even know how you would get that wrong. And it'd be like the most non-easy question ever. So let's get to the tests, right? So in particular, the free responses, right? The free responses are usually the ones where you have to know the material that is being taught in class. And if your teacher isn't really teaching something extremely well, you can't really learn it the way that you have to do it on the test. So yeah, we get our free response grades, and they're kind of good, right? This happened for a lot more than one free response, and there were like a lot of free, like maybe like 4 or 5 per 9 weeks of the year. So the year would be split up into 4 categories, and we'd have like maybe 3 tests every one of those 4 categories, and with tests is included the free responses, right? So the free responses, we would get back our grades, and they would look like an average of like 80, right? Which isn't bad, right? But then one day, well, he tells us there's like a huge curve, obviously, because everyone did terrible, because nobody knows anything that the guy is teaching except the people that have already taken physics last year or like online to like get ahead. So yeah, what ends up happening is one of the people in the other class tells their teacher that we have a curve, right? And apparently the other teachers didn't give curves because their grades weren't as terrible, meaning we didn't get 40s on every test. And what ended up happening is our teacher had to remove our curve because he was giving us an unfair advantage. So all of our grades just plummeted. It was so sad. But luckily, he only changed it on one of them because the other ones were already finalized and he couldn't change it anymore. So yeah, our grades plummeted for that quarter of the year. And it was not the best. I have a picture of the average of the grades, and I don't know if I have it actually, but I know I took it, and it was around like the 30s. There was no curve because it was only our class and our teacher that had those terrible grades, so he couldn't do anything about it. So yeah, I had like, and then you know how physics is like really essential to like any path of like engineering and stuff like that. So you kind of like need to know physics. But the problem is I didn't really learn it well, and having that teacher made me completely hate physics. But it'll hopefully change, but having that teacher made me completely hate physics. So yeah, turns out I had a incredibly terrible teacher that made me hate physics. So oops, I completely missed every single one of those hits, but it's fine. I want to say more about how he what jobs he had, because he discussed them freely, so I guess that makes me allowed to discuss them freely, because he didn't care about if anyone knew what job he did in his life. So yeah, he joined the military right after like high school, right? So, or the army. I'm pretty sure he joined the army, right? And after like serving in the army, he went to work as an engineer, right? As an engineer for like Samsung, and he worked there for like a lot of years. And then he opened he made his own company, right? As people do, and he sold it. So in between each one of these jobs, he was like retired for like, let's say, I don't know, but probably like a year or two, and then his wife would like, maybe sometimes it would be retired for more, but would be retired because and then he would go back to work because his wife would be like, no, I want you working, I don't want you playing golf all day. Yeah, he worked at Samsung, he made his own company, then sold it, and then he went to being a teacher for whatever reason. And it just so happened that the year before he started teaching us, so the year before, the year he started teaching us, they told him he was eligible to retire as like of age, which is crazy. Or the amount of years, not his age, the amount of years he's worked, he was eligible of retiring. Let's just say he wasn't the best teacher ever, and the way I learned physics was through learning from other people in other classes. I didn't actually learn in class, we just paid attention because we couldn't do anything. We just had to sit there, and I am not joking. Sometimes when we were in class and taking tests, literally taking tests, he would just go on TikTok, and he wouldn't realize that TikTok is on the speakers. So he would just be listening to TikToks while we're taking tests, struggling, trying to get up above 50. Isn't that crazy? That's why I think he got fired instead of retiring, because of the things he did in class. And a lot of people would report him to like what is it called? The person that you report bad teachers to. I don't really know what they're called. Yeah, that's my teacher that got fired.